me on the secure line.
Please hold.
Boom, that easy.
That's great.
I know, right?
Yeah.
How's your day?
Good. I've been working on some Crowder pre-pro. I'm doing a couple songs for him, and so just kind of beginning stages and piano and keyboards and vibes and sonics before I start sending it to all the dudes. So it's
Yeah.
good. I mean, working
Nice.
away.
Of
How about
course.
you?
Good. Had coffee with a independent artist this morning. Had a Zoom with a potential intern, and then just other random stuff that I've been able to do from home. And
Yeah.
now I am in the parking lot of AMC because I'm going to go see Top Gun at 4.
Love it.
Yeah.
Great.
For anyone listening who may not know you, what's your name?
My name's Jeff Pardo. I'm a songwriter, producer in Nashville, Tennessee, and I've been here since 2000. So a long time.
You're old. Jeez. Oh my.
I guess. That's what I say.
Yeah. I don't want to waste any time here. I want to get to the point of why I wanted to talk to you. On this show with Rachel Purcell, who's one of my recurring guests, we got to talking about just her experience in the creative process. And recently she's told me she's having the most fun she's ever had making music right now. And I was like, wow, that's a blessing. And she said something to the effect of safety builds trust and trust builds the foundation for flourishing, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I was obsessed with that little formula, and I took the question that I'm about to ask you in a second to a bunch of different people to try and identify more about, okay, like, what does this look like for you? Do you agree with this formula? And I've added two things at the front and the back of this process. So now it's preparation first, kind of like if you're planting in a garden, you have to dig up the soil. So you have preparation, that turns to safety. Safety turns into what I'm now calling vulnerability.
Mm.
Vulnerability turns to flourishing. And then flourishing turns into harvesting or pruning stage.
Yeah.
And then eventually you start back over at preparation. So the question I've been asking people is, when was the last time you would say that you were flourishing, and how did you get there?
I think it's weird because I think in this business, flourishing can happen one day and then it doesn't happen the next day. And I think that's right. Like I do think it's the combination of people, and I mean, I think that, but I think this is probably true for all creatives. I can just speak for music because that's what I do. But I do think there's something about the combination of people in a particular room and what your history may or may not be with those people that allows hopefully the truest version of you to come out. And it's weird because I don't know if I experience flourishing as a creative in this, like, every single day it feels that way. I think it's more about the average. You know what I mean? Like when you zoom out and you look at 6 months of work, or you're looking at a year's worth of work. I mean, every year I actually do, at the end of the year, kind of over the Christmas break, I go back through, like, I'll pick 10 or 12 songs that I've produced from the previous year and I'll just listen to them again and kind of go like, oh, and I'm listening for certain things. I'm listening for things that stand out to me as like, oh, this is better than I thought, or this is better than my average, or this is something about it grabs me. And then I'm also listening for if something grabs me in a negative way, like, oh, I could have done this better, or I could have whatever. But most of the time, if I look back over, a year before that, I do feel like growth has happened. You know what I mean? So to use the flourishing word, I think, I just think sometimes if you're evaluating yourself every day or every 2 days, it might not feel, like if you have a bad write and then you have another bad write, it's like, well, does that mean that you weren't flourishing, or does that mean that, like, some days it's just hard, you know? But I think when you look over longer periods of zoom out where you go, oh, let me get 6 months away and then look back 6 months and go like, am I doing better? Am I doing worse than I was doing 6 months ago or a year ago? More so than like, am I doing better or worse than I was last week? That's like too short of a evaluation period, I think. But
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But I mean, it's really easy to fall into that thing of like, oh, I didn't write a good song today, or I didn't serve this artist in the best way today. So therefore I suck, you know?
totally.
And I think with more time doing this, I've just realized like that's not true. It's just certain days are harder than others. Certain days, like the good stuff comes. The preparation that you're talking about, it's like you came in with a great idea. And other times you prepare and you don't come in, you still don't come in with a great idea. It's like I mean, I think creativity is mysterious in that way.
Yeah, that's so good. People who may be listening who know who you are or what you've done, you've been probably one of the most commercially successful writers in at least the Christian music space over the past decade. They may be comforted to hear that, like, oh, like he's not always on top of the game.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think what I try to be on top of the game on is like when I'm in the room with people, like really trying to do the best work I can and really trying to like listen and be attentive to what an artist is saying that they want to do, try to figure out if there's something they're not saying, like are there certain fears that are maybe preventing them from saying, I don't like this thing that we're doing at this moment. Um, but I can't, it's really hard to like control whether the idea that you're writing on a particular day like really is this A plus hit song kind of idea. I mean, I think I can control the prep, I can control the work, I can control the like, you know, um, I guess the discipline of like, are my songwriting creative muscles in good shape? Can I, but that, I mean, to use your language, it's like that's all sort of prep stuff.
Yeah.
That's all the like. I also don't think a song is wasted. I don't think. I was talking to a writer earlier this week about like the songs that feel like they're going nowhere, and it's like, well, they're not necessarily going nowhere. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Sometimes you're just out. I mean, I use this marathon training for a marathon analogy all the time, talking about songwriting. Like you just some days you're just out working your muscles and you're making sure that like you know how to write and you know how to develop something and you know how to be in a room, and that song may or may not be the one that like wins you some award, but it doesn't mean it was a wasted song, because I think that discipline and repeatability of what it means to be a creative, which is not just about am I inspired in this particular moment. It's about like every moment that I'm inspired, being able to kind of bring that with you. You know what I mean? And have it show up at 10 a.m. on Monday is like that's probably because of the work I did before that.
Yeah. I You allowed me to join in on a session this past Monday with two other wonderful people, Ethan Hulse and Natalie Lane. Because I was just there to observe pretty much with this process in mind. Like how
Yeah.
fast can I see this process work out? And like I took a bunch of notes. I found some things, and like there's some things that could fall into safety or preparation stage or
Yep.
whatever it be. The thing I was struggling with, like, was just like, what are the lessons we learned? That's what I feel like the harvesting and pruning section is. It's not success or failure. That's too binary. It's just what lessons were learned.
Hmm.
Which is why I asked you and the other guys, like, hey, what did you learn today? Uh,
Yeah.
your answer was like, you always learn how talented your co-writers are.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Why do
mean,
you?
because
Yeah. Why do you feel like that was important?
well, I listen. I mean, I think there's still a real joy and wonder that I have for how this all works, and I mean, I think my two favorite like parts of the process are that part of finishing a song and then the part of like finishing a master. Like
Mm,
because the rest of it is just work. It's just like, yeah, man. I mean, even today, like I'm working on keyboards on this one song and I'm digging in, I'm figuring out things I like, things I don't like. It's, you're like going through the forest sometimes trying to find the path. Um, but I do. I just think it's really incredible how people can walk into a room together. And like in the case of, me and Natalie and Ethan, we've known each other for years. We do have a lot of relational history there, which makes the it makes us get into the work faster
Yeah.
because there's a little bit less of the get to know you thing. It's more like, I
Mm,
do already know you. I want to hear, I haven't seen you in a month. Like, give me the quick catch up, but like, let's go to work. And I think there's a lot of freedom in that. But I mean, it's incredible that these two people on Monday, when you were here, that like they want to hang out with me and make music, and that Natalie thinks that guys like Ethan and I have something to offer to her artistry. Like, they're really talented people, and that's every room on some level that I'm in. Like, there's opportunities to appreciate what other people have been given and what their gifts are, and how we get to intersect and work together to hopefully make something that like moves people and is meaningful to people, or to make something that is just, you made something today and it's not going to go out in the world, but you worked out your muscles together, you were creatives together, you were like living out what your purpose is, the vocational purpose of your life, creative work as my job, you know what I mean? And um so I don't know. I do feel like I learned that lesson all the time. That
yeah.
my collaborators are really talented.
I do think that me considering this process is going to change the way I do A&R because
Mm,
like flourishing is great, but like it's inherently just going to be for a moment, for a season. It's not all the time, and that's
yeah.
okay. Like these other steps of the process are also very important. There's no shame in not being on top of the game at all times.
Yep.
Um, and if I can say like, hey, I think you're in a prep stage right now. Like we're just maybe we just released something and we learned a bunch of lessons from what that did out in the world for other people to make their own opinions about it. How
Yep.
do we prepare for the next stage? Like, okay, we're going to find more people or more collaborators, or maybe we stick with the same people, like, because we feel safe with them already. We've built
Right. Oh
over
yeah.
the years, like, the vulnerability is already there. So, like, how do we improve ourselves? Because we're not, or at least I'm not trying to influence my artists to be better than artist X. I'm trying to make them be better than their last work.
That's
So,
right.
yeah, if it's all internal and we're just trying to be our best, this could be so helpful for me.
Yeah, man. I mean, it really is like, I, I do think um yeah, trying to let people come in with confidence, I think. And again, that's not really about whether you write a great song or not. It's more just about an understanding of like, oh, this is the phase of the process I'm in. Maybe I'm writing songs for my new record, but I have a vision for what I want it to be and to do. I think sometimes one of the, something that can happen to artists is like, occasionally, is like writing too much,
Mm,
where it's like it's all this output, but it's not enough time to just be a human and to have input. And so it's like the prep for, it's like if your soul is weary, then the prep is like, I need to be doing some things so I don't feel like I'm bringing this weary soul and sort of not a dread for what I have to do creatively today, but just where it's heavier than it needs to be. It's like, well, man, maybe the best thing for you to do is cancel your whole week of writes and not do that,
mm.
because it's really hard to like come into a room being like, I just feel tired. I don't know if I really want to be here. And then like write the biggest hit song ever.
You're
I
so
mean,
right.
maybe that happens once in a while, but I would rather bet on an artist and myself. And I mean, I can fall into that too, where it's like, man, I'm just tired, or I'm distracted, or I'm, you know, all those things I think fight the really good creativity.
Yeah. Is there anything that you would add to or take away or push against in this process of God, the preparation, safety, vulnerability, flourish, harvest thing?
Say it one more time. All those steps.
Preparation turning to
Yep.
safety, turning to vulnerability, which turns into flourishing, which turns into
Yeah.
harvesting, and then we start over.
Yeah, no, you know what? I think that's right. I think what's weird is sometimes the harvest part of it is like, can be really it can feel undefined.
Mm,
Like, what are you learning from your own work, or what are you learning? But I think it's important to kind of go like, oh, something was successful, what can I learn from why that was successful? What can I learn from a failure? um Sometimes there's less to learn from either of those things than you think,
mm,
because it's just creativity, and especially professional creativity, is just, it's a hard business because you are interacting with like X factors out in the world all the time that you have no control over. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So I think I think the most I think if you do the prep work well and you're in the situations where you feel like safe to be yourself, and you do that enough and you do that with discipline, like all the other stuff will come. You know what I mean? And I think those feel like the easiest parts to control, right? Are the like, who am I with? Do these people help me feel like myself, or like that they're trying to get me to be the best version of myself? Okay, I can trust that we can do good work here. Um, and then let's see where that work goes, And then I think as much, yeah. But I mean, I wouldn't disagree with any of that. I just think like all creative things, it rarely ends up feeling like a straight line.
Sure. Yeah. Totally. Well, dude, that was it. That was the main thing I wanted to talk about. Thanks so much for taking a moment.
Great. Awesome.
Alrighty. See you later.
Enjoy the movie. See ya.